Heidi ho, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of Culturally Irrelevant, the podcast where we discuss a collection of today's most significant cultural podcasts. We'll try to stay grounded in a biblical worldview, try to have a lot of fun along the way. Thanks for joining us. My name is Miguel. I am joined by my best friends and fast becoming yours, Brandon, Will, and David. What's up, boys? How's everybody doing tonight?
Hi.
Terrible.
I like recording at night. I think it's cool.
I like recording an hour late.
You know, for background info, we keep trying to schedule these podcasts earlier and earlier, and somehow we end up recording later and later. So you're getting the raw, unfiltered versions of us.
It's actually 3 o'clock in the morning.
So I'm saying there's no grace left at 3 a.m.
This is certainly culturally irrelevant after dark.
After dark.
Late night.
Yeah, if you thought we were bad last episode.
You were.
Wait, baby.
Start the podcast off with apologizing for the last episode.
Yeah, I'll give David his time. But right now, I'm going to kick it right off. I don't want to waste any time. Today's episode, we're just going to focus on the AI issue. We had a lot of listener comments. Everybody was saying that they wished I got a little more in depth. So I have some charts. I have some code I'm going to present.
Let's go.
All 12 of our listeners are like, oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
We gotta hear that again.
Fired up. David, do you have any words of apologies to your co-host, Brandon West?
No.
I didn't think so.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving before it's
Keep
over.
it moving. Talk about, speaking of keep it moving, I haven't been watching, but been letting my boy watch some new stuff on YouTube, and the kids section is great. I love the videos. But these ads that keep interrupting, that I have to keep moving on from every 3 minutes, I don't understand how all of these adult commercials are being pushed through on kids programming. Who is that commercial for? It's supposed to be for me, because all I'm doing is finding the clicker, hitting that skip ad as fast as I can, don't even register what's going on. So who are these adult ads for during all these kids programs?
Well, how is that any different from me watching YouTube? I'm skipping them just as quickly.
Yeah, but at least you can tell your clients, like, look, when 18 to 25-year-olds watch content, we show ads for 18 to 25-year-olds. But explain to me how it works, and I'm watching a video for a 2-year-old and I'm getting ads for 18 to 25-year-olds.
You don't think kids do Ozempic?
Trying to catch him early.
I'm a kid at heart, so I'm on this.
There you go.
Is Ozempic? Do you have to like shoot it into your thigh like steroids? Like remember when like Derek Jeter and A-Rod would like?
So there are a couple different places that you can shoot it into. You can shoot it into your thigh if you need to, but you can also into the hip. You can also shoot it into.
That's painful.
Into the abdomen.
Okay.
For our audio listeners, Will is holding
Stop.
up a chart of a human body that locates all the different areas where one could administer Ozempic.
Was that a bit that you worked out with David, or did you actually just have that on your desk ready for whenever somebody asks you where to apply Ozempic?
I'm a Boy Scout, man, so I'm like ready for anything.
Oh
Our motto is be prepared, and I figured that this would come up in conversation today. So there you go. Printed it out for the viewing portion of our audience to
BP, baby, be prepared.
That's right.
Were you actually a Boy Scout?
I'm an Eagle Scout.
Oh,
son.
get out of here! You took it seriously. Let's go.
Straight and narrow.
Is it culturally irrelevant to talk about basketball, or should we just skip the NBA trades? I feel like it's been so hot for so many people, but honestly, I haven't really.
Do you want to add another thing for our apology tour? Because that's going to be part of our apology tour next episode.
If we talk basketball?
Yep.
All right, moving on. LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time, and we don't talk about anything else. Let's go.
That is
Let's go.
Such a bad take. I've never been a part of a podcast. I've never been a part of a podcast, but I've never like witnessed a podcast be so wrong about so many things so often. This is episode 4 now.
We're not called culturally correct.
This is episode 4 now, and we have now in the first 5 minutes pissed off a massive portion of our listening audience.
Michael Jordan fans are culturally irrelevant, so if I piss them off, good riddance.
No.
But for the first time, we didn't piss off China.
No, that's good. That's good. Oh.
Speaking of
dog,
China,
baby.
and other countries, should we discuss the recent capitulation of a close neighbor to some American democracy? And by democracy, I mean tell you what's up and get it done.
Yeah, I think that sounds like fun.
Right,
We-
you were
we-
texting the other day that you were
Yeah.
watching the internet, not the other day, yesterday. You were watching the internet melt down over this
Yeah.
announcement from Canada. Justin Trudeau tweeted stuff out. Apparently, we're getting everything that we asked for, and it only took a couple days of talking. And you said everybody was melting down over it.
Yeah, well, it's like the spin zone. How do you spin this to make it like it's a win for people on the far left? And it was insane, the mental gymnastics these people were doing. Like if you really think about it, like no, if you really think about it, you're a moron. But no, I think they're big wins. Sometimes to be a good leader, you got to be kind of you got to be annoying. You got to do some annoying things, and that's what he did. And both those countries, folded, which is the word I like to. They caved.
Caved.
Big
The
league.
caving of Canada.
If you're gonna say like they're, or if you really think about it, you can throw some hand motions, some robotic hand motions. Like, if you really think about it, yeah, those guys
No,
are
the thing
idiots.
the thing about the people on Twitter, or excuse me, on X, is a lot of them are like paid, and they get sent out talking points and stuff. And
Mm.
sometimes the talking points are just really bad. So like all the terrible accounts, like Harry Sisson, JoJo, who's like a former crack addict or something, they all have the same like talking points. So you just my favorite's Brooklyn Dad. Ugh,
Oh yeah,
Wow.
dude,
JoJo
what
has
a
tweeted.
fella.
The man's
JoJo
man.
from Jersey has tweeted about me before. Has tweeted about your co-host here.
What'd he say?
So we're famous, is what you're
It's a
saying.
girl. It's a woman.
It's
What'd
a
he
woman.
say?
We think we
We're talking about the dancing girl.
David, we can't confirm that in the gender of any of these people, right?
How do you describe her? She's just like a lunatic.
She
Has
is
never
a
had a
lunatic.
single. Well, that's why I like people who disagree politically, who will like, be rational and like have logic, and you can engage with. But the people we're talking about don't have any of that.
It's kind of crazy. People sell out so hard for one thing, and then you abandon any kind of reason. You don't care what it is, even if it's a very obvious example of leadership in the affirmative. You're going to somehow find a way to say, "Well, no, it wasn't leadership in the affirmative. Actually, we lost."
Well, I saw someone say that if tomorrow Donald Trump came out saying we need to ban all guns, all these crazy people would be like, "What about the Second Amendment?" Like they would just whatever he says, they just would
true,
flip
man.
over. So
It's so true.
it's all
True.
it's all silly, but it riles me up, and sometimes I want to go up to Jersey
that's
and
the-
find JoJo.
She doesn't even live in Jersey. She
Sounds
she
like
Just
doesn't.
her because she's a beautiful woman. All right.
Sure. Now, this isn't even the pits of hell yet, right? This is just like scratching the surface with like a fine tooth comb. Like you want to get in some real gnarly stuff? Let's get to Reddit. Like that's where the underbelly. That is the underbelly of society. That's where they live. They live at Reddit.
Yeah.
And there are so many good subreddits out there to follow, to watch the debauchery that happens on that.
Like, for instance, our pictures. There's-
Oh yeah. Like
I don't know. It's crazy. It's everywhere.
Something as
crazy how-
benign as our pictures.
Right.
It has spread everywhere. I even see comments of people like crying about it. Like, do we just have to have this discussion here? Or you'll see a comment deleted, and then the subs after is, yeah, we're just trying to keep it out of this space because we can't have it everywhere. Can't have it both ways. We're either
Well,
we're
it's
gonna
funny.
talk about it or not.
Then
What do
they
you
all
mean, our
band together
pictures?
and write these like, what?
You mentioned our pictures. What are you talking about?
Like
The subreddit.
like the big subreddit.
It's just pictures, but it's just like
Yeah, the point is just to share interesting photos, but it's like one of the most radicalized.
Oh, our
formations
slash
of
pictures.
people
I
on
thought
the
you said
internet.
OUR. I thought all of our photos were. I thought we were being doxxed on Reddit.
Oh no!
You have to
Dude,
say
that'd
the
be the-
slash, bro. You have to say
That'd be the
our
best thing
slash.
that's ever happened to us.
culturally irrelevant. It's been doxxed on Reddit.
We need to make that happen
That would be an op.
somehow.
Yeah,
That'd be
one of my new activities is how many comments deep do I have to go before somebody brings up Hitler, and it's usually averaging like 4 to 5. It's you can't call Trump smart because really, Hitler was smart too. So it's very similar. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I
the
like whenever
substitution.
they back themselves into a corner to where they feel like they have to like start praising Hitler because it's like they take a full circle to where it's like, well, actually Trump's not like Hitler because Hitler actually was like, he was actually a pretty good painter, if I'm to be honest.
And Hitler, he created the Autobahn, so
Yeah,
like
I mean,
it's
you
the
know,
first
Mm.
interstate system.
he wasn't all
Man,
bad,
these are gonna
but
be some
Trump.
these are gonna be some great clips for this episode.
Yeah, they might need
I
to be a
think
little more choosy this time
just a
around. No
little
more
just a little
automation.
branching off, since we're discussing Reddit and comments, which we might have to make a new segment, like everybody just bring their favorite contributions next week and we'll talk about it. But how much stock do we even put into that stuff when we read it? You think it's real? You think it's a lot of bots? And everybody's, I think, David, you were talking about how a bunch of people on Twitter, they're sharing scripts. We've probably all
Mhm.
seen that YouTube video, that compilation of a bunch of anchors on newscasts all saying the
Yeah.
same thing. So it's very clearly used. How much of that is infiltrating even things like Reddit comments?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely Reddit. I think Reddit's the worst. I think X is up there with just bots and it kind of the theory, like dead internet theory, which I understand, but I don't think I could explain it. I don't know if any of you guys could explain it more,
Well,
but it's
Say it again.
basically
David,
just
let me get
The
into
dead
it.
internet theory.
yeah, dead. Did I say internet or did I say Ethernet? I meant to say internet.
No,
And-
Ethernet
all right.
I would rather talk about Dead Poet Society before we talk about the
Ooh.
dead internet theory.
Why haven't they made a Dead Poet Society on Broadway?
Because speaking of dead, Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, he
that's
did
true.
pass.
Yeah.
Oh man, now we're bringing the show down.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Hey,
come on.
bring it back to Reddit. So, and to tie into the kids thing earlier that Miguel was talking about, that
Yeah.
nobody.
My kid uses Reddit. All the ads
Right.
on there. It's insane.
So there's.
Slash toys. All right.
Yeah, who are these for?
Oh my goodness.
Do you guys watch Daniel the Tiger? The kids watch Daniel the Tiger.
I've seen a little bit, yeah.
From my hometown.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you know Daniel well. There's a subreddit r/Daniel Tiger conspiracies, and you want to talk about getting some weird stuff. Like there was one theory that was just fantastic. This one is it's not specific to Daniel the Tiger. It's really all of them. But Bluey is another show, and they were trying to piece together like how the Bluey family lives, or the family that Bluey's a part of lives in what would ostensibly be probably a $2 million house in Australia.
Yeah.
and the father's an archaeologist, and the mother is like works, I think, airport security. They live in a $2 million mansion. I'm like, something doesn't add up here.
Huge backyard. Got so much space in that house. Ugh.
Why
It's
does
like
the mom
the-
work in TSA if the dad, he's probably, might assume he has a PhD. He's, going out on digging up.
Well, that's the HGTV meme where it's like, we want an oceanfront house with a 5-bedroom and it's built-in spa, all this stuff. Our budget is $45,000.
Here's a shack. Here's a shack for you.
No, or I've
crazy
seen it
part
go.
is-
I've seen it go the other way too, to where it's like, yeah, my husband manages a 7-Eleven, and I am a substitute teacher at the local private school, and our budget is $2.2 million, and we're looking. Like, oh my gosh!
Like, all right, give me one
So-
of them jobs.
So here's the best conspiracy though. This dates back to like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which I know all four of us at some point in our lives became familiar with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Yes? Can we agree?
Absolutely.
I'm
Okay.
from his hometown, him and Daniel Tiger.
Okay, perfect. In Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
I thought that was just like a bit that you were doing.
No, it's not a
No.
joke. He's
No,
serious.
that was real.
Claim to fame,
No.
baby.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's where we grew up.
Wicked,
There's this statue
wicked.
there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So there is, in the original Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, King Friday was like this authoritarian figure. He didn't rule with an iron fist, but when he spoke, there was people were reverent, people listened, and like everybody else got kind of quiet when King Friday came out. So in the break between when Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood ended and when Daniel the Tiger started coming around, right? So a couple of years ago, right? The new King Friday is very like no one respects him whatsoever. He's like basically a show king. This is just like
He's a
right?
puppet.
He's a part of the community. He's like it's not the reverence that you showed back then. which would suggest in the interim there was political turmoil and probably some sort of coup that was staged
Ooh.
within the Magic Kingdom / neighborhood, and that stripped the king of all the powers. And this is the kind of ridiculous stuff that that is on this subreddit. And I was like, but there's some truth to that. Like King Friday, like nobody respects him nowadays. Like what happened? Where did we go wrong?
Well, it was
I think
actually his son, Prince Tuesday, he led the uprising.
It probably was something in terms of some family drama.
Trolley was involved.
All right, let's go around and
history class.
Let's say our favorite subreddits for real.
Oh,
There's
here we
some good
go.
ones, right?
Favorite subreddits.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh boy.
are we being facetious or are we being like
No, we're being honest. I'd like
honest?
to be honest.
I love our Miami. I'm from Miami, but also I get to like watch everybody complain about I left Miami 3 years ago and I would never go back, and here's why. Blah 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 blah, and then just realizing. I think we were talking a little bit about this before the show. Like, it's perspective, man. If you go somewhere and you choose to look back and say that place sucked, that's fine. But the place you're living in sucks too. Like, everywhere you live, it's got the suck and it's got the good. So I love Miami because it's my home. So I get to see the suck put on display and then kind of get to rationalize it away from myself. So it gives me like a good temperature on the city, I feel like.
Yeah, Miami's.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a way to talk about it. It's
when I come, if I go to brunch in Miami, I have to come and take a 5-hour nap and like a 3-hour shower just to get that off me. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, my parents live in Kendall, and I almost never go see them because it's a journey.
So
I like
hard to
Miami.
get.
My favorite subreddit is r/raw denim, and it's about salvage denim, and those are like jeans that. Oh, go ahead and interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I was just I was affirming you. I was a part of that community for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's called banter, David. Jeez.
What's your favorite subreddit, Brandon?
No, I want to hear you talk about our denim.
Yeah, I have a bunch of raw denim. It's great. Go ahead.
What's your favorite raw denim brand?
316. Go ahead.
316.
Oh, he was ready to.
What's your favorite subreddit?
I don't have one.
Yeah, I said the thing about the thing. You don't have one?
No.
All right. Well,
my whole feed gets cluttered up with whatever my, very much like raw denim. It's whatever the flavor of the week is in terms of my hobbies. So it's.
I meant to ask you, how many subreddits are you a moderator in? Because you seem like you might be a mod.
That'd be so crazy if he's like 12.
He's
just a mod. That's his part-time job is just a Reddit mod.
I ban anybody that brings up 316 and raw denim. And I say you're a fake fan.
You're
out. It's barely even Japanese, mass produced.
William Russell, do you go on Reddit?
It's honestly my favorite changes by the by. It just kind of comes and goes. My favorite right now is obviously r/wash DC. And it's basically like all of the nastiness that exists in DC that just regular citizens have captured, like people beating up other people on the subway and all kinds of just stupid stuff. People melting down over Trump being president again. People like complaining that they have to go back to work instead of teleworking now. Is it so hard? I know it is very hard for these people. So there's this subreddit on Reddit that has all the happenings of Austin, all the really terrible things. I just like watching all of the terrible things that happen in inner cities. And it was funny because in my preparation to go to Austin last week, I was like, let me see what's going on, what are some things that are happening? And like the first thing that came up was like a guy that's in his underwear holding one of the cardboard signs that he hand wrote, running down the interstate, being actively tased by like a police officer at 9:08 in the morning. I'm like, what is this?
You got an early worm.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. That was my favorite one last week. So this is an evolving thing. It changes.
I like the phrase actively tased. That's very good. It's a great state to be.
He wasn't tased like in the past. It was happening and he was still running down the road. It was amazing to watch.
Anybody here ever been tased?
No.
Me neither. I was just curious if somebody had experienced it.
Dang it, Miguel.
I don't
Sorry.
want to talk about it.
He can't. He signed an NDA for that experience.
Yeah.
Aren't NDAs like not? Have you guys signed NDAs for anything?
All the
No,
time.
not that
Really? Are you being
important.
serious?
All the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I signed one 2 days ago for a client.
Yeah, what'd it say?
Uh,
What was it for?
I'll point you to my NDA. I can't talk about it on the air.
Can't talk
Yeah,
about
go
it.
ahead, disclose.
Okay. This conversation is devolving quite a bit. Let's change topics. Let's change topics. Big news over the weekend or over last week is obviously these couple of plane crashes that have been happening. I think the dialogue has gotten real stale real quickly, which seems to happen every time something happens. We just want to rush to like see how that works out from my view. So skipping over that, can we actually take an honest look at the status of people working in a very specific industry, which handles the lives of thousands of people every day? Air traffic control. Can we take an honest look at that industry and say, is there blame here, or is this just stuff happens and sometimes stuff happens back to back and then it seems like a big deal, but it's not that big of a deal?
Well, I think it's known that the FAA air traffic controllers, and actually no one down here in Miami, they were understaffed and there were qualified candidates applying and they were getting turned away. So, I mean, that's the facts, right? So,
Yeah.
go ahead.
There's a class action lawsuit that was launched last week over this.
Yeah.
The timing is
Right.
weird.
So
though.
I'm not questioning that DEI existed and was a bad thing. I'm saying, is that actually what happened, or is this just human error? And when it happens on a big scale, or when it happens at a bad time, things get blown up out of proportion. I mean,
The timing was weird. Happening back to back was weird.
super weird.
Yeah. The another thing that's really weird. I don't think it has anything to do with anything, but the one flight was coming from Kansas City and the other one crashed in Philadelphia. It's a Super Bowl.
Whoa.
What if it's
Yeah.
like a super
Okay,
deep
dude.
Super
It
Bowl
was just
commercial?
What if it was just an ad? Yeah.
I'd rather be a flat earther than believe that conspiracy theory.
Just throwing everything out there.
Okay, fair enough.
I would say the one thing that really stood out to me, which we've all watched it happen, is you have the delay on the female pilot. And at first I was like, well, I mean, if it was my wife, maybe I'm freaked out about her getting lambasted, so I don't want her name released. But then 3 days later, her name is released after everything that existed about her on the internet has been scrubbed.
The Black
So,
Hawk pilot?
yeah. Why
She was a lesbian.
is that something that you have confirmed? I have not heard
Yeah.
about that at all anywhere.
Yeah. I'm just saying based off the my wife analogy. I guess she could have had a wife.
No,
Oh,
bro.
no, sorry.
He's-
I was saying like from my perspective at the beginning of, oh, we don't know who it is. They're keeping the name hidden. I'm like, okay, I mean, I get it. Like maybe there's fear there, but then that's not the case. They don't actually withhold the name. They release it 3 days later after whitewashing all of her presence online.
See what you're
Is
saying.
that like, I don't understand how that's not supposed to be entirely suspicious and make us all think, oh, so everything that everybody was saying is correct.
I don't even think the her being a female pilot thing is a big deal. I think in industries that it matters, in the airline industry, in the military, in medical industry, I think DEI will kill people. And this is something Matt Walsh, who is a bearded fella who's quite boring but makes good documentaries, has brought up in the past couple years, that this is going to lead to people dying. I don't know that this specific incident, a female pilot, I don't know, but something happened and it was terrible. So
Well,
there's not
I
much
would
to say about it.
So the pilot of the Black Hawk apparently has spent the past several years serving as a social aide in the Biden White House. Did you guys see this?
I did.
Yeah.
As
And
a
not to-
social aid, meaning like in a military capacity? How do you go from being
Yes.
okay.
So in the White House, there are big events that people put on that high profile, and they bring in, and you're part of a group of soldiers from different branches of the military that serve as social aides. So they're escorting. They come in and they kind of chauffeur these VIP people. You're given a social aid, and interacting, right? And it could be something as simple as it could be as complicated as a state dinner. It could be as simple as like the Medal of Freedom ceremony that Biden did right before he left office when he gave the Medal of Freedom to George Soros. Like, but it's the military's responsibility to be escorting these people around, right? And it's something that's sought after, right? My only point in saying that is you're not getting, if you're focusing on that portion of your life a little bit more than the actual job of flying a helicopter. Like I just don't know. It's part of my ignorance, but I would assume that there's a little bit of a disconnect, right? Because the military has a certain way that they train you. It's a frame of mind, and it's not something that you turn on and off like out of Severance and the TV show, like where you just leave the office and forget everything. Like it's a mindset, right? So they're always prepared, always ready, on the ready, everywhere they go, wherever they go. And when you start introducing, especially if she was of the persuasion of the Biden administration, you start introducing a little bit of hubris when you become a part of this elite group of people who are allowed
Mm,
in the White House, and
mm.
your focus shifts away from the normal job that you have, right? And that's not to say that's what happens. I'm just saying there's a theory of something that could have happened, and it could have become distracted a little bit.
So, talk to me a little bit more about that social aid. Is that like a rotation thing? I've been in the military for X amount of years. This is my specialty. I'm a whatever sniper or whatever. This is my specialty. And I'm going to do this short rotation in the White House for like 3 months. It's super fun. I get to escort VIPs. Or is that a career path?
So I think that's probably just a stop along the entire the entire road, right?
Okay. Okay.
It's the same thing. Like it's the same thing with military aides to the president, right? So all the military aides to the president that follow the president around with the nuclear football. It's not the only job they do. They have a variety of different jobs in the role of being military aide to the president, but there's one from every branch of the military, just one that come in and become part of this kind of team. It's an elite group of people, and there's an application process. There's in-person interviews, and there's more in-person interviews, and then you meet the president, and like it's all got to fit in, right? The first Trump administration, we ended up with the absolute easy company of military aides. They were guys that fit in with us. They fit in with the culture for the most part. Men and women that fit in with the culture, but it's part of
Are you
that was
saying
their full-time job,
are
right?
you saying Donald Trump didn't just hire a bunch of white guys to be his military attaches? Because I'm pretty sure that's what he was
Nah,
on Reddit.
nah, 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 nah,
Oh,
nah, nah,
that's interesting.
nah, 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 no. One of one of my favorite military aides, and he would absolutely laugh that I'm bringing him up right now. But Keith Thomas was he's a Coast Guard, he's a Coastie, right? He was one of my favorite military aides, but I liked all of them. I liked Islow. I liked all of them. I liked Ziegelhofer.
Just in case
They,
they're all listening to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sending this to on this show to
Good.
all of them, and we're going to clip this
Yeah.
portion. It's going to be great. But it was a really good group, right? But that was their full time job for a time. I don't remember the duration, but it was not months. It was years, I believe. And you rotate, right? So it's based on of the five seniority. So you become the big
Mm,
toe, and you kind of work your way up through that process, right? Um, one of the things that I find fascinating is because of the full time job, it allows you to immerse yourself into the work that you're doing on the behalf of the president, right? I don't think that that's the same situation with social aid. So there's going to be like an intermixing
okay.
of regular job and social aid because I mean the White House is not doing events that would require social aid on a daily basis,
Sure.
right? So my only theory, my one of my theories on this is that potentially she became distracted, wasn't putting in the time that she needed, wasn't focusing on the task at hand, and so she wasn't looking at. And maybe it's just I don't know ill prepared, lack of training. I don't know. I think over time, when you're introduced to these different elements, you can become distracted and kind of lose the narrative here. And again, it sounds like, according to, let me see, I assume she sounds like she's of the persuasion of the Biden administration. So of course you would kind of become enthralled with the work that you're doing and the people that you're escorting around and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm. So I just did some quick research here, and
Let's go. That's how we do it here on culturally irrelevant.
yeah. So I did some quick research, and it looks like there are some weird things. For instance, the Black Hawk did see the American Airlines jet, uh, and requested ATC approval
No,
to,
they thought they saw it. They saw a different plane. They asked for visual separation twice.
right.
They didn't
And
have the eyes. They had eyes on a completely different plane.
well,
No,
even regardless of that, the point is that it requested the visual separation. The controller approved the request and instructed the helicopter to pass behind, but the helicopter never actually altered its course even after receiving the approval. It stayed on the
it was
course.
looking at a completely different plane. They never
Yeah.
had eyes on. They never had eyes on the thing they crashed into.
The point though is that they requested separation, got an approval, and then never separated though. So even if they're looking at a different jet, why wouldn't they have altered their course to avoid that other jet? And then another thing was that it says the helicopter was flying at an altitude over 300 feet, nearly double the permitted
I
200
saw
feet
that too.
for the route that it was on. So there's a lot of weird,
There's a lot of error factors apparently.
yeah, and error factors that you would think would have been even maybe called out in the moment, but not really.
Well, throw in the fact that that night there were supposed to be, so apparently there are two controllers, one for the fixed wing and another one for helicopters and anything else, small craft.
Hmm.
The one of them, I don't know which one it was, and I'm going to tread lightly on this, on pinning down who it was. One of them was let go early. So there's one person doing two jobs at that point in the tower. Why did that occur? Why was that allowed?
Yeah.
Somebody was able to just walk away from their post for the rest of the evening.
Man, I mean, it doesn't happen in my current job because Coral Ridge is great. Being a worship director is great. But I've had so many jobs in the past where people are so quick to expect corner cutting from you. Like, oh yeah, you're hanging drywall today. You normally have a crew of 4, but if 2 don't show up, like the production is going to be the same. Like you're expected to cheat and do whatever you got to do. Throw in 8 screws instead of 12 per line. Whatever. The production's the same. Now I imagine that being transported into an environment where your job is literally holding thousands of people's lives and passing them from point A to point B safely. And then you're telling me that somebody is like, oh, we don't have enough staff. It doesn't matter. Just keep going.
But I think that's what makes
How do
it
you
so
make that calculation?
surprising. I don't know if you've ever looked into it or researched kind of the process to even become an air traffic controller versus what it is that they do. But it's like super strict. I mean, it's not.
rigorous.
Yeah, like to become an air traffic controller, they get paid really well, but it's a lot of work to get in there.
I have a friend who's an ATC, and he's from here, and he got sent to Austin for his job. And when he was in Austin, he said he wants to be back here in Miami with his family. And he claimed that he was allergic to the climate, and he went for an allergy test, and they gave him the thing where you get the bumps on your arm, and he, as the lady who administered the test left, he took out his key and he scraped his arm,
No
and it was
way.
just completely red. And he's like, I'm allergic. And they're like, yep. And then they sent him back to Miami.
Oh
He's
my
been here for like
goodness.
10 years. And I'm not going to
Well,
mention his name.
I
But his
was
name
gonna
is
say,
Garrett G. Flanagan.
I was gonna say we should get him on next week so we can ask him some more questions about this disaster, but now we can't.
And
Do you
now
know do you know
let's ask him
Flanagan's?
about,
Yeah, it's him. It's his family. Anyways.
Oh wow.
let's
Can we
ask
cut
him
that?
about
That's,
the
57.
Good ribs.
let's ask him about the Reddit subreddit about Austin if he follows that too.
Ooh, he might be in on Austin pump circular.
He only follows boat subreddits. He owns a boat.
Told you
Speaking
they
of
get paid well.
boats, I was watching a video of some dudes on a boat the other day, and apparently there's this new craze that we're going to be boating over rivers and crazy spots in obscure parts of the world to find and locate the last remaining uncontacted tribes on the planet. There's like an experience being built around this now. Have you guys seen any of this? Do you believe any of it even? I mean, do you think that there's that many uncontacted tribes left out there to be found?
You mean like for like tourism?
I mean, it's not devolved into tourism right now because there's nobody out there saying, "Hey, buy a ticket, come on, I'll show it to you." But there's like this adventure vibe where I'm gonna videotape myself so that you can be entertained while I'm out here seeing if we find any of these people.
Yeah, I saw the Nelk boys did that. They like contacted an uncontacted tribe. It was all fake. So I feel like a lot of it is fake. Obviously,
That's
there's like
it's verified that was all faked out.
the Nelk boys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you
they're
kidding?
shotgunning beers with these guys and giving them
Yeah, but I
vapes.
mean,
They're 100% fake.
When I hear the name like Nelk Boys, I'm like, I that inspires confidence.
Yeah, there's definitely tribes who have like killed people for like coming there, but I don't know, like the cannibals. Like, has there ever been like a proven case of cannibalism ever in the world?
Oh, there was that. I think it was a CNN like correspondent that was doing a docu series.
Yeah,
on,
I saw that.
Yeah, and that was cannibalism that was happening right in front of him, and
Yeah.
I think he got sick.
I was also being facetious because if you look up in American history, the Donner Party, which is a like group of wagons crossing over to the West Coast, cannibalism, 100%.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Craziest story. Oh my gosh! If you
Can
guys
I
don't
be
know
honest,
Donner Party,
I've heard the name Donner Party a lot, and it's always like, you know, the Donner Party. Oh yeah, it's crazy. But I've actually never heard anybody talk about it. I don't know anything about the Donner Party.
Dahmer
oh yeah,
or
it's crazy.
Donner?
Donner,
Not Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay, got it.
Donner.
Jeffrey
It's pretty cool.
Donner.
Dude, give us the
Yeah, they
quick
got
30-second cliff notes.
they got trapped in the snow, and they're all idiots, and they had to make it over the Sierra Nevada, and most of them died, and the rest of them ate each other.
Is that the same as the soccer team?
They played football. Yes, this happened 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Not
this
in
is a
not in the
different-
1910s.
Wait, this was recent?
Nah, it was like mid 1800s. When was the caravans out west? I don't know. The 49ers.
Oh, okay. We're talking
It was
about different
then.
things.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the
Yeah.
Donner Party. There's a soccer team that ate each other.
I believe so. They were having to clear some mountain range, and there's like a biographical film about it on Netflix. But they were going over a mountain range. They didn't make it. The plane crashed, and they were
Oh,
stranded. And I'm pretty confident they resorted to some questionable survival tactics.
yeah. I
but
wouldn't.
yeah,
I would just die. I wouldn't eat any. I wouldn't eat a human.
I feel like also now I don't know if I'm with my family and you know people are just dying around you. Does that change how extreme you're willing to go to keep people alive that you love? I don't know, but I feel like that'd be a tough one. A tough one.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The Donner Party, they would like draw straws to who they would eat,
Oh,
and
was it
and-
a game? Oh my
The
God.
game of
no, they were just trying to survive. But then like.
Oh.
Oftentimes they wouldn't just like bash the person on the head. They would wait till they died from the cold and then eat them. But then they would have to separate into different camps, right? So like if the mom died from this family, then the other families would eat it, and then the families who was related to the mom would just sit there and do nothing. And just
Okay, so they kept like some moralistic framework over the
look up the
entire
Donner
experience.
Party. You're missing out on one of the
We're
craziest
researching
stories
this for
in
next
American
episode
history.
for sure.
Yeah,
Last podcast on the left.
We've already lost my wife for this show. She's not going to listen to this episode.
Charlotte doesn't like cannibalism.
If you can believe it.
Oh,
No,
yeah, bro.
no,
Yeah.
If
that's
you
not.
can
That
believe
doesn't sound like her at all.
I know. No,
Hey,
she doesn't like it. She won't even watch shoot, what was that movie?
Shrek 2.
Train no. Shoot. What is the name of that movie?
Did you just swear on our Christian podcast?
Oh, I said shoot. Please don't insinuate that. That's almost as bad as swearing. It's the one with the train in the frozen tundra, the
Thomas the
Earth.
Tank Engine. Polar Express.
No.
sorry. Just screamed.
With the train.
with Chris
Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer. Yeah,
Ah, great
Snowpiercer.
No,
movie,
it's
great
Polar
show.
Express. It's Polar
Dude,
Express.
don't mean to spoil the end of Snowpiercer, but Charlotte was locked in to that movie up until like the reveal at the end,
Where
and
Santa Claus came out.
where Santa Claus came out with the hot chocolate, and she was like, "I
Nope.
am
This is fake,
couldn't
isn't
be
it?
more out on this." Yeah, this is
What's that movie with the train in the Arctic? There's only one answer. We all know
Polar
the
Express,
answer.
baby.
Tom Hanks plays every character, and it's pretty mid,
character.
but it's pretty mid. But
It's
Yeah.
actually kind of dark, but anyway.
I don't know why the only memory I have of Polar Express is I watched it as a teenager or whatever, and I was massively disappointed in it. But I don't even
Really?
remember the movie itself. I just remember this feeling of like, oh, that movie stunk.
I've
I'm
probably
so
watched
mad
it 15
I watched
times.
it. Really?
I've watched it. Yeah, we watch it every year.
Maybe I got to go back to it
My
as an
family.
adult, see what's up.
Is it good?
No.
It's kind of dark.
Polar Express, bro. Come on. It's not good. We don't watch Shrek. I don't watch National Treasure every year because it's good. I watch it because it's National
Whoa.
Treasure.
Disagree with that.
Whoa. Have you guys seen the show, the National Treasure teen show? I think
No.
it's on Disney
No,
Plus.
absolutely not.
No.
No.
Yeah,
No free
my
ad.
wife watched it. She didn't have that many incredible things to say about it, but when you
Well,
got
thanks
an
for
IP,
bringing
you
it
gotta,
up.
gotta use it. No, I was just curious. I think this is about time for us to introduce our first official, culturally relevant, fun segment. Are you ready for
Ooh.
this? Are you
Yeah.
ready for this?
Let's get out of the
I-
hard hitting
have-
news.
have we- Have we not been
15
having
kids
fun?
were killed. Okay.
No, no.
They just shut down. They just furloughed the entire USAID. How crazy is that? Anyway,
Yo, you know what? Not time for our fun segment yet, David. Keep your shorts on. The government, or not the government, DOGE. I
4902.
thought it was like a meme thing. I thought it was, hey, this is a really fun way to get some attention and jostle up some energy, and I did not think it was going to be like for real, and it's for real, bro. They're going in there and cutting stuff down.
They're jostling it.
Down.
yeah. Why is this a shock to you?
It's a shock because I didn't think that was I thought government was like cemented in its ways. I didn't think it was possible to just walk in there, lift up the skirts, and see, look at all this nasty stuff you're hiding on here. We're cutting it out. We're done. Like getting it out.
I wasn't kidding. I wasn't kidding about the USAID thing. Like
I know.
it just broke. There's 10,000 people who have been put on administrative leave and told to come back to the United States of America. Like that's so sick. Like I'm all for that. Like we gotta get our little crap in a pile first before we go start trying to help other people.
100%.
And when you start looking at some of the things that the administration has laid out that we're spending money on, it's a drop in the bucket how much money that we're spending on things like $10-15 million is nothing to the United States government, but it's
but over 100,000 times.
It's the principle of the matter, which I just like. I find, and the fact that he's actually doing it, I think is pretty cool. I made this point in the last episode, like what I'm curious. I mean, all these things he can do, right? He can do whenever because he's the president and it's his executive branch that he can do with it whatever he wants. It's the question that I now have is right now because it's pressing. What are you going to do from a legislative standpoint? But anyway, I digress. I think it's incredible what they're doing. And Brandon West's hero Elon is running this entire thing. I think it's very cool.
Running the show, man.
Mr. Musk, if you're listening, I'm sorry I didn't defend you harder last episode. Next time.
Mr. Musk, if you're listening, I'm sorry I went for that low-hanging fruit. It was a terrible joke, and I apologize, and I'll never make it again.
Mr. Musk, if you're listening, you need to find something better to do.
That's probably true. Over the last 2 weeks,
Musk,
I have. Go ahead, David. You can give your message to Mr. Musk. Also, we're not going to leave you out. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you have autism. Is my video frozen?
Yeah.
All the
Oh.
time.
Really? The entire time?
No, it's probably.
All right,
But
Mr.
it's
Musk.
actually funny. Your image is just like.
Static.
I bet my camera died because I don't have a good enough battery.
I thought you
All
just
right,
been,
we
like,
can pick up
shocked
wherever
this
we
whole
want.
time.
Mr. Musk, go ahead.
So I saw a thing on X today that was pretty funny. Maybe a little bit offensive, but somebody shared like a screenshot of a study that was done talking about, there something happened where a doctor claims to have found a cure for autism. In the comments, it's like, don't release it. Wait till Doge is done.
Wait, he's not done yet.
Yeah,
Don't do
but we need it a little longer.
I'm not gonna lie, we definitely need Doge to stick around for a little longer. I've spent the last couple weeks learning about all these different ways that apparently my tax dollars just be flying around the world, getting spent left, right, and center. Everybody cashing in. Everybody saying, "I'm part of this NGO. Fund this. I'm part of this and that." Like, what?
Yeah.
How does that gotten built out? And I don't know. I'm excited to have somebody in office that seems to care about
Have you watched
administrating our money correctly.
Have you watched the Doge tracker on like that like display that they have that shows in real time like the US debt clock?
I haven't even seen this. No.
And now they have a line there for the amount of money that Doge has cut from the government.
Is
So you
this
can
on-
see.
Is this on X or is this on a website?
No, it's on a website. Holy
No,
cow.
this is like a government website.
What's the
With
website?
It's doge.tracker.com. I'm looking at this, like with USAID getting shut down, it just saved the government $420 million.
Just like that, one fell swoop.
That's the leaderboard. They're the number one in government efficiency.
Finally did it.
They finally did it.
Number one, baby.
That's
with a
right. Number
bullet.
one something.
Oh,
Look
look
at
it.
us.
Look, it's going up like right now. It just went up. We just saved another $100 million.
Doge.tracker.gov?
Doge-tracker.com. Which
Let's do something a little more serious because I actually I've been curious about this all week. Will, at the end of our episode, it might have been in the after show, but you mentioned you do this thing with your phone at the end of your workday, and I was hoping that you would elaborate on that a little bit and maybe teach us. Maybe we start a new segment called Habits for Humanity, but teach us a little bit about this habit you have with your phone and whether or not that might be something life changing that we should all think about.
I usually slam it on the asphalt out of just pure anger.
Yeah, it's a warehouse of brand new phones, one for every day.
Cool.
I mean, listeners, viewers, you can join me in slamming your cell phone down in anger every single day.
Habits for Humanity.
It's like the ice bucket challenge, but it's the slam your phone in the asphalt challenge.
Right.
And everyone films yourself slamming your iPhone.
And I want to see some really creative people. I want to see somebody who lives on a cliff tomahawk a cell phone off the cliff at the end of the day in pure rage. That's what I'm looking for.
Don't forget to
I'm assuming that is what
relevant.
you're talking about there.
His name's Miguel.
My name is Miguel. Thank you.
His name is on the screen.
It's
getting
also
late.
it's also 11:30 at night, and I have a 1-month-old that doesn't know how to tell time.
Well, we were supposed to record at 9:05, but Brandon West decided to resurface his driveway because I don't know why. But
because it's hot during the day.
hey guys, I gotta do a quick thing. It's only gonna take me 3 hours.
First of all,
he needs new asphalt to slam his phone on.
Yeah. I didn't know that Washington, D.C. was in the half hour ahead time zone.
It's very particular.
That's one of the funniest things you've ever said.
Okay, fine. So my habit, and one of the reasons why I can't I record so late at night with you guys is when I come home from wherever I have been that day, I generally leave my cell phone in the car, so that I'm not distracted by y'all's stupid text messages, and also from work stuff. And I do that from generally whenever I get home. So let's say like 5:30 ish, through to when my kids go to bed. And
Wow.
potentially any conversations that I need to have with my wife.
So we're talking like hours and hours after you get home. Your phone's just in your car.
No, it's not that impressive. His kids go to bed at 6.
No. My kids go to bed at 7:30. So we're talking probably it's some total of 3 hours, which in the grand scheme of things, like if I have the time in the morning when I get up to kind of do things, check my phone, check emails, respond to people. I've got drive time in the car whenever I'm sitting in traffic. I've got all day at work. And then after all the kids go to bed and after I put my wife to bed, we're back online, and here we are at 11 o'clock at night, speaking into a microphone to you jamokes. So like there's a rhythm to doing all that, and oftentimes I find myself sometimes overlapping just because of the nature of the work that I do.
Sure,
But hey,
sure.
that's
Well,
it is what it is.
It's still a regular rhythm for you to say whenever I can, I come home and my family gets like unadulterated meat. That's pretty cool. All right, let's get out of here.
I think
Let's see you
we've
boys
already
next
done
week.
it. Yeah.
See you boys.
All right, see ya.
My night vision. Reveal yourself. What do all your self features like?
This has been an episode of Culturally Irrelevant, a production by us. Check it out on X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or any other major podcast platform by searching for the Culturally Irrelevant Podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you back with the boys next week.